Hello everybody, welcome to Aric Talks, the show where I talk about things that are important to me, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of my normal setup where I take 3 or 4 news stories for the week and expound on them and then pick one subject to think deep about, today we're just going to be talking about one news story and one idea, and that is the presidential debates that happened just a few days ago. I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys enjoy this kind of editorial style video, and yeah, let's jump right into it. As a general rule, if you're an undecided voter and you're not really sure about the candidate's actual policy proposals, the debates usually aren't the places to go. But in this debate, there was a lot of clarification as to what the candidates meant when it comes to certain policy proposals. For example, Hillary Clinton clarified her desire for gun control, and by clarified, I really mean she talked a little bit more about it. What Hillary Clinton clarified was that she wants to take guns away from bad people. So she's coming for your guns, but not your guns. She's coming for the guns of bad people. Who are bad people? Well, terrorists. Definitely terrorists. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump both agree that terrorists probably shouldn't have access to guns. But on the subject of gun control, that's really about all they agree on. So yeah, Hillary Clinton clarified her stances on gun control a little bit and made very clear that she wanted to take guns away, but she didn't want to take guns away from everybody. So the NRA still isn't in agreement with her, but if you're a big Second Amendment kind of person, you don't have a reason to be panicking about Hillary Clinton. And Donald Trump actually clarified some of his policy positions as well. He wants to increase what he keeps on referring to as law and order. He has stood by the idea of a stop and frisk policy. The stop and frisk policy, which was employed after 9/11 in New York City, was declared unconstitutional. Donald Trump says that no, it wasn't declared unconstitutional, which it was declared unconstitutional. He's talking about the idea that we should have a stop and frisk policy. So if we want to take guns away from gangsters, he says, we need to be able to stop gangsters on the street and take their guns away. In terms of clarifying policy, Hillary wants to take away your right to bear firearms, and Donald Trump wants to take away your right to walk down the street without having to worry about getting harassed. However, both individuals are proposing these things out of a desire for public safety. Hillary Clinton wants to take away people's guns rights, specifically terrorists, criminals, and people unfit to bear a firearm. Now that's a little ambiguous, but generally she wants to take people who are dangerous and not allow them to have guns. And she wants to do that for the American public safety. Donald Trump, on the other hand, wants to take away your right from walking down the street without being disturbed for your public safety. So they're both talking about an exchange of rights for safety, but they're disagreeing on which rights need to be taken away, etc., etc. Those are some policy positions that they have recently clarified. That is kind of where their clarification of policy sort of ends. When asked how they want to improve the economy, they didn't really propose anything new. Hillary Clinton wants to improve the economy by subsidies and raising taxes, making college free for everyone. But once again, that's not really anything new. And Donald Trump wants to stimulate the economy by slashing taxes and trying to make it harder for companies to ship jobs overseas to places like China. So they talked about how they want to improve the economy, but they didn't really clarify any of their policy. So in terms of policy, really the only new thing we learned is some specifics on how Trump wants to reinforce stop and frisk policies, and how Hillary Clinton wants to take away guns from individuals who are unfit. So that is the policy that they were talking about. However, what debates are really, really good at is clarifying a candidate's character. Like, who are these people? And in that particular respect, we learned a lot. Hello, sir.
How you doing? Sorry.
Don't turn off the light. Why?
Okay.
What? Your reflex is to walk in and turn off the light?
I honestly don't know why I did that.
I don't understand either. Anyway.
That was not to mess with this.
So like I was saying, debates are not really good places to look for clarification on policy. In reality, what we got more of was a closer look into these candidates' character. One of the big things people have been talking about is how does Donald Trump respond to debating a woman? And the answer is exactly like he responds to debating anyone else, which is incredibly rude, bombastic, and yeah, just normal stuff you've come to expect. So what the debates were really about is having an opportunity to compare and contrast these candidates side by side. And what we found by doing that is some pretty basic stuff, but also important clarifications that we didn't really understand beforehand. When Donald Trump stands next to Hillary Clinton, he looks a lot more genuine. He did a great job during the debates making an emotional appeal to the nation. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, is an unfeeling robot, only capable of simulating human emotions. I mean, no judgment, but it's just an objective fact. She didn't do a very good job actually emotionally connecting to the audience. However, what became increasingly apparent as the debate went on was how knowledgeable Hillary Clinton was on certain policy issues and how ignorant Donald Trump was. So a pretty big deal has actually been foreign policy, and Donald Trump has been trying to attack her, saying that she totally messed up her time as Secretary of State and totally messed up her foreign policy experience, which is a fair argument, but it was kind of destroyed by the fact that every time it came to a toe-to-toe argument about foreign policy, Hillary Clinton won because she knows more about foreign policy. So it ended up making Donald Trump look like a pretty ignorant guy when it comes to international relations, which isn't good for his campaign. He kind of demonstrated during the debate that he didn't fully understand the context of like all those situations going on around the world, but Hillary Clinton does. And so you have this situation where you might not like what Hillary Clinton is doing, but it's difficult to argue that she doesn't understand the world. And Donald Trump, you might like what he proposes, but it's hard to argue that he does understand the world. So in terms of character, we found out that Hillary Clinton is extremely prepared and extremely calm under pressured circumstances. Donald Trump did not let up on her throughout the entire thing. I mean, he was mostly on the defensive, but he was still his aggressive, in-your-face kind of self. But Hillary Clinton just didn't humor him. Not at all. Complete control under a very pressured circumstance. Which brings us to another subject, which is Donald Trump's winning temperament. According to Donald Trump, his best asset is his temperament, and that he has a winning temperament and that Hillary Clinton does not. Even though Donald Trump did a good job appealing to like an emotional side of the American people, he did a horrible job looking composed under pressure. So he just really looked like somebody out of control standing next to Hillary Clinton, who looked pretty much in complete control the whole time. So you have Hillary Clinton, who's calm and composed under pressure, and then you have Donald Trump, who just got angrier and angrier as the debate progressed. Some people might consider that an asset, being as like, you know, be passionate about what you actually believe, but it didn't translate well on the debate stage. And that brings us to another very important subject about these two candidates' characters, which was incredibly highlighted during this debate. It is a simple objective fact at this point that Donald Trump just lies more than Hillary Clinton. So, like, take some of these examples. Hillary Clinton made an accusation during the debate. She said, Donald thinks that climate change is a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese. Donald Trump said, I did not say that, except he literally said that. And there was other questions about his support of the Iraq war, something that he overtly supported in the press, which he said, no, I did not support. But yes, he did, because we have documented proof in news shows of him saying, I support the Iraq war. So you have him lying about what he thinks about climate change. You have him lying about what he thinks about past military engagements. He's just bluntly lying. Now, don't get me wrong, Hillary Clinton isn't much better, but she doesn't lie as often. I mean, she still lies, and that's still bad, but at a much lower percentage in comparison with her opponent, which, once again, is not a very good thing for the Donald Trump camp. Even though Hillary Clinton has been garnering this reputation over time as this evil mastermind liar, she is objectively telling the truth more often than Donald Trump is. And so that's kind of a concern, given that, like, one of Donald Trump's main campaign things is Hillary Clinton cannot be trusted under any circumstances. Looks kind of bad when you're less trustworthy than Hillary Clinton. By the way, if you're interested in the source that I'm using to look into the debate and do some fact-checking stuff, I'm using a couple different sites, but the main one that I'm using is npr.org, specifically their article, Fact Check Trump and Clinton Debate for the First Time. It's a really good article that has line-by-line fact-checking. So if you're interested in doing some research yourself and trying to prove me wrong on some of my arguments, I highly recommend you check that article out. How did I almost forget this? Okay, the people who are in charge of Donald Trump, his campaign manager, the Republican National Committee, all these people have been desperately trying to get him to behave himself, to stay calm, collected, and on message. And he really tried in the debate. I mean, he really tried. And he succeeded. He looked presidential. He stayed on message. He was using statistics. He was talking about the economy. I mean, looked like a totally different candidate. And I got kind of excited. I thought, wow, maybe Donald Trump is going to change his ways, except he was able to do that for exactly 15 minutes. All she had to do was just casually mention a few of his business dealings, and he was off track for the rest of the debate. So we figured out Donald Trump is capable of being a decent candidate for exactly 15 minutes. That is a huge victory for the Clinton campaign. He needs to prove that he can have a calm, disciplined approach in the way that he speaks, structures his arguments, and conducts business. And there's been nothing to indicate that that's even slightly him, and this debate was supposed to be his opportunity to showcase how calm and disciplined he was, but he just couldn't pull it off. Those are the two main things that you can take away from the last debate. There was some policy clarification. There was a lot of clarification as to the actual character, who the candidates really are on an internal level. A lot of clarification for those things. There was a lot of other kind of like cool, fun bits. Like there was a fascinating exchange between Donald Trump and the moderator about Trump's involvement in the birther movement, or the accusation that Obama was not born in the United States. That was just completely incoherent in every possible way, and it was just very fascinating. And so there's a lot of other cool stuff. If you have the opportunity, I highly recommend you actually go and watch the debate. It does teach you a lot about our political system, the way the major parties run, and how our candidates conduct themselves. So if you have the opportunity to actually watch the debate, I do recommend you do that. However, if you don't want to bother, I appreciate you coming to this video for me to offer some clarification. And like I said, I did leave that link in the description to a fantastic article, which is literally just a transcript of the debate with line-by-line fact-checking. And so if you're interested in getting educated that way, I recommend that method as well. I just want to leave on this conclusion. I was not thinking that the debates were going to be useful at all. I thought that it was just going to be more confirmation of the information we already knew, and that nothing really unique or special or valuable was going to come out of it. However, after watching it, I realized that it's important for us to understand who these candidates are as people, not just the caricatures that the media tries to present them as. And the debates are a fantastic opportunity for us to see the candidates just naked, for us to see them exactly as they are. Because in these debates, the questions are not shared with the candidates beforehand. The moderator really allows the candidates to just go after each other. And in these debates, you really get a sense for, as much as possible, the real character of these people. Personally, I think that that's important. Almost just as importantly as the policy that these politicians believe in is their actual temperament and character and who they are as people. And so if you have an opportunity to watch the last debate, I mean, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's freaking everywhere, please do. And if you have the opportunity to watch the next two, I recommend you do that too, because you might learn something unique about the next president of your country. And, yeah, that's about it. That's all the time we have for today. You are a beautiful human being. Try to change the world today. And as always, sincerely yours, Aric Wood.